Hi, I'm Zach. I'm a vegan singer-songwriter, also known as ZmanTheVegan. In this video, I'm going to talk about what the world will be like whenever we reach 80% of the population being vegan. Which I'm optimistically just assuming that we will, whenever I make that statement. But anyway, what's the world going to be like in the future whenever 80% of the global population is vegan? I think it will be amazing, and it's a wonderful thing to ponder about. Let's jump right in. So, first of all, obviously there's going to be no more factory farms. There's going to be no more farms in general, I think. Even family farms and certain things like that just won't be allowed. It just won't. If it is, it's in very remote or very just very small countries that are separate from a majority of the developed world. And most people probably won't like it put like this, but I think it will be illegal to kill animals. It will be illegal to kill animals and use animals at all. Not even just kill them, but use them for anything. Because by the time 80% of the world population is vegan, I'm not even just talking about plant-based, I mean like vegan, where 80% of the world population sees that we should not use and exploit animals, then I think all of the systems that are in place will be gone that involve using and exploiting animals, and we will have the vegan alternative to them. It's not even an alternative, it's just we will have a replacement that is vegan. So instead of factory farms and monocrops that destroy the soil and destroy the rainforests and all the ecosystems and pollute and everything, we will have vertical farming and agro farming, or basically we will symbiotically farm with what's already there. So we're not going to cut down any forests or trees, but we'll add in certain crops that will already grow there and help nourish and flourish with the ecosystems that are already there. And we will start applying more vertical farming and farming inside of like cities and stuff that utilize space that we already have and energy that we can already be using. And so we will no longer have slaughterhouses and factory farms and monocrops. We will have entire different systems in place that feed us far, far more efficiently. And on top of all that, we will have way more healthier food in the store that's way cheaper, since it'll be so much more vastly accessible. And the government subsidies for egg and meat and dairy, all that will be going back for just simply farming. The birds agree. Then bird seed will be much cheaper if you would just shut up. Just kidding. No, just go vegan. I think they're already vegan. They're birds that probably eat seeds and stuff. They're not hawks or anything. They eat other birds. But I'm saying even healthy food, like the Whole Foods right now at the store, that's much more, it's not much more expensive, but it's much more expensive than it has to be. It will be cheaper. You'll be able to buy fruits and vegetables and whole grains and actually more variety of whole foods, vegan whole foods, than before. And there will probably, I mean, we're just talking about going vegan and transforming the world like that. We're not talking about completely health conscious and everything. So there's probably still going to be like vegan junk food, vegan processed foods. There will be a lot more options of that. Like, there's probably still going to be McDonald's and all that. Very likely. We're not, unless we shift a whole bunch of other things along with the veganism into the mainstream, which likely will happen. If 80% of the world population goes vegan, then we'll probably drop other things too. So hopefully it's a big transformation. But I'd imagine all these other companies are going to be a lot harder to just make disappear, rather than just make them have vegan options. So we'll probably have vegan McDonald's, vegan KFC. All of those companies will be vegan. And the companies that refuse to have fully vegan menus will probably die off. If 80% of the world population is vegan. But then again, there's still 20%. So meat will be super expensive though. I'm imagining meat will only be for the very rich people who just couldn't give it up, who just didn't go with the world population. Or it will be for the very, very, very poor who live in undeveloped countries, who still are not getting help from the outside world. But with 80% of the world population being vegan, I imagine way more people, 80% of the world population, will be acting more consciously and be more empathetic and put more time and energy to help out our fellow human beings have developed nations. So we will have far less villages that need to kill and eat animals, and villages that have dirty water. We will actually collectively start to work together and solve these problems. We will have far less child labor and far less everything. Anything and everything that we directly help fund and help put into place with our hands by products that we buy, we will solve it with supply and demand collectively. So other things that will happen whenever 80% of the world population goes vegan. Would you please be quiet? I'm making a video over here. You walk over here just to make noises at me. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Jeez. I swear, these guineas just walk up and start making noises just to mess with me or something. Or they're not that smart. They just walk up and they're like, oh, he's right there talking. Oh my gosh. Ah! They just start yelling in their guinea language. Hey, quit it. I hear you, I see you, you're interrupting the video. So another thing that will happen in the future is vegans will learn how to speak Guinea, and then they will tell them to please be quiet in their own language, so they will finally stop interrupting videos. No. Is we will have massive sanctuaries, many sanctuaries. I believe that with 80% of the global population being vegan and then a lot of land freed up, we will start to have some of that land sanctioned off for the animals that we no longer eat. And we will of course make sure that we don't breed them anymore. So for maybe 20 to 50 years until those animals die off peacefully, we will give them a place to live. And we'll take care of them. And it'll be like giant sanctuaries, giant animal sanctuaries for all the animals that we no longer eat. Out of all the factory farms full of billions and billions of animals that we have right now. We have over 60 billion land animals, like pigs, chickens, mostly chickens, cows, billions and billions of them in factory farms and farms all around the world. Way more than enough. I mean, enough is such the improper word to use because we don't need any of them. we shouldn't be using any of them, or we don't have to use any of them to survive, because we could be vegan. And we could all go vegan and 100% of the world population. So 80% of the world population being vegan, and we will have no more factory farms. We will have these giant animal sanctuaries. And we will have far more accessible whole foods and plant-based foods at the store. And not that we would use those animals, but the animals at the sanctuaries, I'm sure all the feces that they make, we would turn it into manure rather than just throw it into runoff. I think a lot of the unhealthy systems we had in place that were causing runoff, that were destroying the ecosystems, and the unnecessary violence, a lot of like killing animals that were eating our foods, like farmers shooting animals, and all of that, we will find different ways to go about all of it. That's far more sustainable and efficient even. And so for all the animals inside the sanctuary, we could use their feces or whatever for manure and put that towards growing our plants. And then once they die off, I'm sure we'll find other solutions. I know there's ways to rotate out plants and keep the nitrogen and everything in the soil healthy without using manure, but I know we'll need manure in some way. But science is a wonderful thing. I'm sure we'll be able to produce some type of compound like manure, or find a way to get manure without using animals and breeding them into existence and having them in enclosed spaces. I mean, maybe we can find a way to use our own human feces rather than just having these giant sewer treatment plants. We're animals. There's got to be ways to modify our poo and use it as manure so we can grow food with it, so we don't have to use animals. As vegan, as a predominantly vegan society, we will actively be chasing these solutions rather than just blowing them off, saying, circle of life, web of life, or food chain. Rather than just making excuses like that, we will actually actively be searching for these solutions, and we will be finding them. Because where there's a will, there's a way. And obviously, as humans, we have the potential to solve all these problems. We are very, very sophisticated species who can use technology to solve virtually any problem that we think of. So the question is, do we think it's important enough to save the animals' lives and to not use them or exploit them? And whenever 80% of the population does think that yes, it is important enough, then I find that we will start finding all these solutions. Another thing is hunting. Hunting will seem obsolete and barbaric. We will have other solutions to controlling overpopulated animals. First of all, we will not have caused more problems and caused more invasive species, more overpopulation. For example, some of the overpopulation with deer, some of those problems, it was caused by human intervention and killing wolves and killing the predators and just humans being in the wrong spot. And so first of all, we're not going, we will put in more effort to not cause more problems with nature as a predominantly vegan society. We will actually actively be paying attention to how we are affecting nature and not just nonchalantly saying, oh, put a city here, oh, put the waste there, who cares, highway goes there. We will actually actively see, you know, what animals are there, where, how they're moving and everything, and we will, with compassion, grow our cities and our highways and all that. And we will have completely different ways of putting in highways. We'll probably have fences or some type of underpass or overpass for animals. We'll build those things in for the animals, so there's not so many deer trying to cross the road where there's high traffic. And there's also other ways to lower the population. There's catch and release, spay and neuter, or basically fix the deer so they can't reproduce anymore. And rather than just shooting and killing them barbarically in ways where if you miss their heart, then they bleed out for a while and suffer. But even if you hit their heart and kill them, it's unnecessary. There's other ways to control the population. For example, capture and release, and barricading off certain parts and just controlling the population and deer and how they migrate and move around. We can create underpasses and overpasses and clearings and certain things. We can put more care into controlling the population and keeping the population lower and not bringing in invasive species. And we can do it in ways where we don't kill the animals. And there will be more than enough food to go around, so we'll no longer be able to justify. I mean, we already have more than enough food, but there's people justifying saying that they're hunting and they're feeding it, you know, to homeless people and to people in poverty. But we'll no longer be able to justify killing these animals to feed each other. If we're 80% vegan world, then we got more than enough food. Because as an 80% vegan world, then we're more efficiently creating our food, which means we're gonna have more than enough food to give away to people, and it's gonna be food that lasts a long time. Well, besides fruits and vegetables, those do go bad. But we'll have more systems in place to grow fruits and vegetables locally. So we'll have vastly more food available. And of course, much of it will be seasonal, but we'll have ways to dry it out and keep it just like we do now. Canned, dried fruits and vegetables and certain things. We'll have vastly more ways to keep our food, or ways that we already have, but it's just not mainstream yet. And we'll have a far wide variety of fruits and vegetables everywhere. It's not just going to be broccoli, corn, cucumbers, carrots, lettuce, and in your fresh produce aisle at the store. It's gonna grow a lot more. The meat aisle will be virtually gone, or it will be super expensive. It's either gonna be illegal and gone, or very expensive, and just a very small amount of meat will be there. And so hunting will no longer be a thing. That will also be illegal. There will be a different practice in place that's not hunting, but it does exactly what hunting was set out to do. It helps nurture the nature and the animals in nature, and it actually does a better job at it. And it doesn't have to kill animals to do it. So that pride there that people have for hunting and killing animals will be gone inside of our society. Of course, there's still going to be a fringe group of people who still hold on to it and the tradition, who probably hold a lot of resentment for the way society went. But a majority of the population will see it for how it is and what we can actually do to help nature and do it in a way without killing nature and animals in an unnecessary way that causes more suffering. So, that is what I think the world will be like whenever the world turns 80% vegans. 80% of the world population is vegan. What do you think? Think. What do you think? Leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. For the animals! Woo!